What's up, Frank? It felt like a documentary weekend worthy of discussion, if there were more people around to discuss it. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm kind of like. Where are all these people? Where are the people? Because there were several documentaries that I watched and that you watched and that other various people maybe watched. I gotta look something else up. Where is it? Where is it? It's not there. It's not there. I'm gonna find this. Okay. Where are all the people? Or as David Lee Roth used to say in concert, look at all the people. He would say that. Is that a brown cokered shirt or colored? It's a brown colored shirt, yes. The Hershey Chocolate World. It matches my, let me show you my, I don't know if you can see my, I do a manly stand. You can see my camouflage shorts. So, this outfit apparently matches. I don't know. Anytime I wear these shorts, my wife's like, "Oh, wear one of your brown shirts," because I think I have 3 of them. Is it bold or is it sexy? Oh, I thought you were going to show Magic. I mean, if you want to see those, I have those too. I also have some. Ooh, I have a lot of soup. Chunky soup I apparently spilled all over the shirt at lunchtime. Ah. Browning for soup. I see what you did there. Instead of, bowling for soup. One of the greatest bands ever. Ever. Ooh. How come they don't have a doc? That's an excellent, excellent question. I wish they did. Probably because they're still touring. What is it, 30 years? I think 30 years. This is their 30-year shows. They should have a doc, sons of the bitches. Blowing for Soup wrote one of my favorite lyrics ever. Her CD changer is full of singers who are mad at their dads. Exactly. What a great band. All their lyrics are wonderful. My daughter wanted to buy his tickets when they came to St. Augustine last year. But then I looked at the set list and I was like, well, there's 2 bands opening for them. I have no idea who these bands are. Imagine they were newer pop punk or emo or something. I don't know. But I looked at their set list and they were only playing for like 75 minutes. And the tickets were like $75 a ticket with everything. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying $1 a minute to see them live. And it's just, concerts, it's loud, I'm old, I don't want to go to sit at a concert. People are going to stand up in front of me. People are going to be smoking the marijuana. I'm going to get a headache. If I get thirsty, I'm sure a soda is $15. Parking is outrageous. You got to drive. It'll be late at night. I can't see at night. Just so many things. I said, don't get us tickets. So you and Shelly can go. I'm like, Shelly's not going to go see Bowling for Soup. You make it sound exhausting. It is. I don't know how you do it, my friend. I don't know. Every time you're like, oh, I want to see Ace Frehley for the 1,000th time. Oh, Steel Panther for the 108th time. And I'm like, dude, just thinking about putting your battle jacket on and leaving the house is exhausting. Never mind all the rest of it. All those people there bumping into you, cajoling you. No, thank you. I've been to about 1 billion concerts in my life. When I wore a younger man's shoes. I'm just not doing it anymore. I'm just not doing it. It just ain't happening. So, anyway, I'm gonna get a little bit of writing in today. So I think I'm about. So today is the last day of my fiscal writing year. Started October 1st last year. We're now on September 30th. Today is the last day. I'm 1,100 words, roughly, from hitting my 400,000 words on the year. So I've made up a lot of ground, although this week, Thursday and Friday last week, because of the hurricane, I did not write those 2 days. So that got me a little bit behind. But I wrote yesterday. Tom wrote a couple of chapters of our 3rd book, and I wrote a couple of chapters. That was like 2,500 words right there yesterday. I ended up doing like 4,500 words yesterday. So I did well. I was like, I got to do like almost 6,000 words in 2 days. Never going to happen, but I hit it yesterday. My secret is to drink too much and be the obnoxious person who's oblivious to all the people I'm missing off around me. If you can't beat them, join them. I guess, yeah, it just seems like a lot. Next page, Mr. Frank. Next page. Which obviously means no niggas in. But I want to get some. I got to get some words in because my wife leaves work about 2 o'clock today to come home because we're having a birthday party for her nephew Aiden, who just graduated Friday from the Coast Guard Academy in Cape May, New Jersey. Shelley flew up. I did not. I got to stay home without power for a hurricane. I don't know who had. If I would have had a worse time going to New Jersey and hanging out with all those people I don't like, or staying home, me and the cats, probably I would have stayed home anyway. I did enjoy the flight. Yes, it was a good flight. But anyway, they're all coming over tonight. I was like, listen, if I'm going to see them Monday night, I don't want to see them also Friday, Thursday, and Friday. No, thank you. They're all coming over. My wife's making Aiden for his birthday. He wanted her world famous taco bar, so she's doing taco bar tonight. So she's coming home early and going to do taco stuff. So I'm sure I'm going to be like, oh, let me pull the table out. Oh, let me put a tablecloth on. Oh, let me vacuum. Let me do 57 things for all these people I don't like, and then so I probably won't get a lot of work in. Tesla's Flight to Nowhere from the legendary Great Radio Controversy album. Exactly. Is that album really legendary, though? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be totally, completely honest with you. First album is amazing. First Tesla album is just great. Second one has some good songs. I'll give the first one an 8.5 out of 10. I'll give the second one a solid 7. There's a couple of filler songs on that one. I mean, to you, it's legendary. To me, the legendary is a whole different level. Not many albums to me are legendary. It's got to be a perfect album. And I don't think it's a perfect album. I think once that one dude left the band, though, then they got more into the let's get into our hillbilly drug songs, and I just wasn't really like. By the time Signs, I was like, yeah, you're covering this dumb song. I'm no longer into Tesla. Love Song, Hang Tough, Paradise, Heaven, Shown 'Em, all phenomenal songs. Phenomenal songs. Great songs, except there's a couple of songs on there that aren't all that great, that I would always have to skip, and I had the cassette. So you'd always have to fast forward the cassette, which is annoying. You can't just take the needle and move it to the next song. That first album, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Every song on it is a hit. Plus, I saw them open it for about 87 bands. All the time I can't even think of an album that I would consider legendary. That every song is phenomenal. Probably Queensryche Operation Mindcrime is phenomenal. Diary of a Madman. More than Blizzard of Oz. Diary of a Madman, I think, is a more solid album. White Lion, Fight to Survive, their first album, the indie, that was awesome. Remember when cassette players would actually stop at the next song when you hit fast forward? On my boombox, it did that, which was cool. As long as you had that little gap, that little space, boom, it would go to the next one. But also on my boombox, the problem was there were certain cassettes like all of the Kiss cassettes, all of the Casablanca Records ones, They were made of like some metal or something. And once you fast forwarded it, it would stop halfway through the song, and then the cassette wouldn't play anymore. You'd have to take it out, and sometimes it would get caught, and you'd have to take a pencil. So when I put on like Creatures of the Night, for instance, or like Double Platinum, which I had on 8-track, and I also had the cassettes. Those would never. You would have to just put them on and just play every song. Creatures of the Night, I think that's a legendary album for me as well. They came up with that technology about 16 months before CDs. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I used to love cruising in my Hyundai, listening to, with my cassette player, listening to Mucky Pup, listening to the first Biohazard cassette. Good times. So you like the Mr. McMahon one? I thought that was pretty good. That was pretty good because you listen to his BS, and the whole time they state at the beginning of everyone these interviews were done before all of these many allegations occurred. Melting cassettes in the car down at Point Pleasant while you spent the entire day in the bar. Oh my God, yes, yes, that was awful. Like you're like, oh. I can't believe I just won this Striper cassette, but I get back to the car, and my Metal Health and my Stay Hungry cassettes have both melted. No Quiet Rider, Twisted Sister on the hour drive home? This is ridiculous. Or if you didn't win another cassette, and all your cassettes had melted, and you're like, well, oh good, I got this Motley Crue mirror that I won. I basically dropped out before the whole Monday Night War, so it was nice to sort of encapsulate everything I missed. Yeah, the reason I watched it was because my son was getting into it in the 2000s, during all of that Monday Night Raw and the Attitude Era, all that stuff. He watched for several years. So I got to see Stone Cold and The Rock and Mankind and all of that stuff. I never watched WCW. I still just watched the WWF. But yeah, it's interesting. And Shelley has never really watched. She knows Ric Flair. She knows all the wrestlers, but she never really watched it. So for her, a lot of it is brand new. She knew McMahon, what an asshole he was. I lost interest right as Undertaker and Doink were coming. Really, Doink, that's... yeah, I would lose interest right there, too. There's Amanda Ward. When we were in Tampa a couple weeks ago, Shelley had she had gone shopping, and she went to Clearwater to buy me shirts. And then after, I was like, you know what? You should have went to Hulk Hogan's store. Which I would imagine now, after the hurricane is destroyed, since Clearwater was under like 4 feet of water. And I'm sure between the end of this doc and when Vince actually dies will warrant a whole other documentary series. Oh, yeah. Well, I know a lot of people like Jim Ross, the announcer with Bell's palsy. Basically, he was complaining on his podcast. I saw a couple clips that, why did they come to me? I would have told you the truth about Vince. So, and it was a good documentary series. I enjoyed it, and my wife enjoyed it too. Again, she never watched wrestling, but she loves, and she's watched enough of those. Like when from watching all of the other things over the years with me, as soon as they would start talking about Bret Hart. And they said Montreal. She's like, oh, Montreal Screwjob coming up. And I started laughing. I'm like, you remember that? She's like, yeah, we've seen it on like 10 of these. It's one thing they always talk about. I'm like, exactly. Interesting. I watched the hair metal documentary. Forgot about the original Screwjob. I watched the hair metal documentary and then the Lollapalooza one right after it. Both of them entertaining. The hair metal one is for people if you didn't live it in the 80s, if you weren't there, if you didn't know all these bands. That's like my wife would enjoy that because it's stuff that she would not know because she did not listen to that stuff. Of course, like when I was when I was a senior, she was like 13 years old, so she missed all that. I mean, she knows all the songs, she knows Poison and all that, but she doesn't know the story. And the thing with both screw jobs is, did you really think you could do what you wanted and get away with it? Yeah, that's for me. Here's the thing. Okay, let's talk about the Montreal Screwjob for a second. So the idea was, well, listen, I'm leaving. I'm going to the other company because you can't pay me. Fine. And so that Sunday pay-per-view will be my last one. But I'll come in on Monday. I'll come to the live thing and I will give up the belt. I will win. We're in Canada. There's no way I'm going to drop the belt, and especially not to Shawn Michaels. And so I'm going to come in and Monday I will thank the fans and I will hand over the belt to you, Vince, and then I will walk out and that will be it. But why take that chance? You know what I'm saying? As a company, why take? Because if you remember the Medusa, when she left the company, she brought the women's title with her, and then live on WCW the next night, she dropped it in the garbage can. So that was a big slap. And there's also precedent. Mike Awesome from ECW, he was leaving the company and he did not want to give up the belt, and so he was at a house show working for another, I think, Ring of Honor, and he had the belt with him. A couple days later, and then ECW, Paul Heyman sent Taz and a couple other guys there, and basically they jumped into the ring and beat the crap out of him and took the belt back for ECW. So there's precedent there. You know what I'm saying? You're leaving, drop the belt. They act like Marky Mark did in Boogie Nights when he lost his popularity. ECW does not have enough clout to set precedent. Me and my brother went to a taping in Philly at the ECW Arena, which is what it was like the Mason Hall or something. We went and saw, and sat up in the bleachers upstairs and watched, and it was ridiculous. Some dude, Spike Dudley, jumped off the balcony onto this giant guy. I don't even know who the giant guy was. A lot of blood, a lot of crazy stuff, and I was like, this is not wrestling. Like, even then I was old. I'm like, this is not wrestling. This is not fun. This is just people beating each other up. There's no story here. There's nothing here. There's dudes really, throwing each other into a pile of thumbtacks. All right, enough. We've seen it. Done. Did you see the Lollapalooza one yet? That was actually very entertaining because I really didn't know too much about all the behind-the-scenes stuff. And again, Perry Farrell, he looks like your lesbian aunt that nobody talks to at Thanksgiving because she's going to say something really rude and she's going to embarrass the family. And the kids stay away from her because she's creepy. And he's soft-voiced, and he just makeup on, very, very effeminate clothing, big giant bottle of wine, and he's just things he says he's weird. I'm like, dude, you're in your 60s. Calm down. They don't have Paramount, unless it's on Paramount, in which case, just no. I think it's on, I think it was Paramount Plus. I think they were both on Paramount Plus. Which we just got from our daughter. I'm not paying for any of that stuff. If I can help it. At some point it'll be on something, right? It'll be on something. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll tell you another legendary album for me is Nothing Shocking by Jane's Addiction. That is just front to back a phenomenal, phenomenal album. I watched the Prisoner Escape doc on Netflix also. What's the name of that? Who escaped? Which prisoner? You know, on the hair metal one, you know who they interviewed a lot? I mean, a lot was Corey Taylor. I mean, a lot. Like, he had a comment about everything. I'm thinking, dude, you were in Iowa. The fuck do you know about the Sunset Strip? You know just as much as the rest of us. But you're acting like you were there. You weren't there. You were in Iowa. You were hanging out in cornfields. Making stupid masks for your crappy band. Which is funny because I like Corey Taylor solo stuff. Because it's definitely 80s inspired. And I like when he does the his live stuff. When he's doing like, you know, Holy Diver, and he's doing Eddie Money songs and all kinds of stuff like that. You know, his version of Eddie and the Cruisers on the Dark Side. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Love the guy's voice. Slipknot, awful. The one where the correction officer lady snuck him out and they went on the lam. Because she's a lonely old cat lady. Is it Prison Chronicles? That what you watched? Is the one with Morgan Freeman hosting? Because we've been watching... No, hang on. Oh, I'll hang. Because I'm watching those Prison Chronicles, and there's another one like that we're watching. They're on the History Channel, but I think they're also on... They might be on Netflix or something. I'm hanging on. Come on. Come on. I need to know. Because I saw a story like that where the lady helped the guy escape. Love on the Run. Okay, no, I have not seen that. I'll have to put that in my mental Rolodex. We still use Rolodexes, right? Why do I have an error to reload my player? Because I'm a player. You know, write what it is when you see it. Okay. Good to know. So my wife put out Halloween decorations. And it is a Dracula and a minion. And there's a bench right in front of my window. And she put them tied to the bench on either side. And it is annoying because the wind is blowing them around. No, I did not know. Yeah, who's texting me? Some asshole texting me. No, I hate that guy. I was supposed to be interviewed on a podcast, I won't say which one, at 11:30 this morning. And they do this thing where they message you twice within a minute. a week out, a day out, 12 hours out, and then an hour out. So I got 8 freaking emails, and then the initial back and forth ones. Yeah, Joe Rogan was texting me. That son of a bitch. No, I wasn't on his. What are you crazy? I want to be on Joe Rogan's podcast. I would be on Joe Rogan's podcast in a fucking heartbeat. I would just keep naming all my books. Anyway, and then 11:30 comes and goes, and now it is 1:30, 2 hours, and no interview, nothing, not an email, not a hey, we're running late, hey, sorry, I'm dead, nothing. And that just annoys me because mentally I gear up all friggin' morning because I got to do this stupid interview, so I got to adjust my schedule. I can't have my chunky soup at 11:30 because I've got to wait for this crap. So then I got to, by 12:15, I'm like, well, buddy, we're not doing this interview now. And still nothing. Still nada. It's annoying. You know what I'm saying? Annoying. I'm annoyed. Where am I? All right. It's annoying. Looks like Tom is on, but he's not writing. Don't sacrifice your chunky for no one. I love chunky soup. It's one of those weird things for me. Is I never eat soup, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm lazy. And I'm like, man, I love this. So my wife went to the food shopping yesterday, and she's like, what do you need? And I'm like, I need pork roll. I need cinnamon raisin bagels. I need sausage. I need creamer. And you know what? Some chunky soup, because I think I have 1 or 2 left, and they were like, buy one, get one, and she bought me like 8 of them. All different kinds of chunky soups. I do not like a creamy soup. It's a texture thing. So don't get me clam chowder. Don't get me any kind of white soup. I like clear soup. You know, like chicken noodle soup or tortilla something or other soup. But if you buy me like a regular Campbell's soup, it's just not enough food. You know what I'm saying? It's just not enough. They also had Pop-Tarts were on sale. So I got, she got like 5 boxes of Pop-Tarts. Which I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to probably have some Pop-Tarts after I'm done here. Because I do love me some Pop-Tarts. There you go. So I will likely not be on tomorrow. I might be, because tomorrow is the first writing day of the month for me, so for the year. So I really probably need to just get on even for a little bit. So I might be on tomorrow. Wednesday I will not be on because we are leaving probably about noon to start to head to St. Louis, and that's a 14-hour drive or 15 hours, something ridiculous like that. So we're gonna, and it's like we got to drive through Atlanta, and then through Nashville, and then to St. Louis. So we're gonna, as long as we can get through Atlanta and stop for the night, Wednesday night, and then make the rest of the drive Thursday, because you know, it's AuthorCon, so there's nothing really going on Thursday. We just like to get there Thursday. So, no big rush. Alex from Iowa and his new blushing bride will be there. And Alex is like, oh, I'm going to bring like a ton of books. Can you sign all of them? I'm like, yeah, not all at once. Like, I'll sign a couple here and a couple there. I'll sign them all on the weekend, but you can't hand me 50 books to sign. And they're like, hey, would you mind if we hang out with you for like meals and stuff? I'm like, whatever. You just don't pop open a can of condensed cream of mushroom and have a go at it with a spoon like it's pudding? No, I do not. I do like cream of mushroom when you add it to to things. Will the State of Horror guy be there with his mistress turned wife? Oh yeah, I forgot about that he was from that area. God, I hope so. I haven't heard about anything. I haven't heard about about anything on either of them in a long time. Although I think last year maybe she was a guest at Imaginarium again. I'm like, why? What have you done? Nothing except rip people off. Somebody sent me a message not too long ago. I don't know if I told you this. That they had the State of Horror books, which are up there, 5 of them. They had copies of those, and they wanted to get everybody to sign them. And who do they get in touch with to sign those? And I basically said, yeah, that publisher ripped everyone off, and so good luck finding people to want to go out of their way to sign that. If I saw you, if you brought it to me at a convention, I'd sign it, but that's about it. All for the best. Wow, they're still trying. I don't know if they're still trying because his name was not mentioned, but her name was, as on a panel. Because even when I don't go to an event, I always like to see who's there. I always like to see what different things are, but I would imagine she was there as an editor. I'm like, but what is she editing? I think I forced him wants to pay me 30 cents, yeah. He was supposed to pay me a lot of money for the series. And then the idea was I get a story in every book and I get royalties like everyone else. I get equal share of royalties like everyone else. Of course, none of us ever got any royalties. And of course, then he never gave me any money towards any of the books. And put out, I guess, 5 of them. And then had family and friends reviewing it. He was just an asshole. His contracts are ridiculous. He's trying to do, I don't know. Anyway. You know, I actually invited him to my wedding. I invited your wife, and I said she can bring you along. Mark Tufo and his wife, and Jerry Benz and his wife. You and your wife showed up, which is good. Guaranteed in 79 states. Yeah. I remember when all the reviews were family and friends. Yeah, all of them, and people were calling him out on it. And I'm like, what do you do? Stop doing that. Why do you have family and friends reviewing? Everybody's giving 5-star reviews on everything. It just looks stupid. Stupid. I am looking forward to AuthorCon in St. Louis. Because it seems like a lot of new people will be there. I mean, it's a lot of the same authors. But it seemed like a lot of the crowd has never been to a Scares or an AuthorCon, and I'm hoping I can sell some of these friggin' horror books. Once this stupid birthday party thing is done tonight, and then into tomorrow, I am going to pack every horror book in that closet and into crates, and we're going to bring them all. And the goal is to sell all of them between this AuthorCon and the next AuthorCon. And then not have any of my horror books in stock. Now, that being said, of course, Hidden Cave came out this week from Severed Press. And so I will be getting a dozen copies of that as well. But I will probably sell that in more of like little local events that I do instead of... because I'm not going to do any of those kind of book signings anymore. And one review was from another anthology author who was pissed that my story was the opening story in State of Horror, New Jersey. Oh, really? I don't even... Yeah, that was the other thing. Like, why are you reviewing a book that you're in? That was a couple of people were doing that as well. Just a mess. Just a nightmarish mess. He had all these big plans. I should have realized when I talked to him. He had all these big plans about doing. He's like, oh, we're going to do Louisiana 1 through 5 or something. I'm like, dude, why don't you just do the 50 states first before you're doing second ones? It was nutty. The contracts, I remember he had contracts. I don't know if it was for the anthologies, but I know he had contracts for, they were going to start doing books. They were going to start doing novels from people. And like one of the things was basically in the contract, if you die before the book is done, then we own the book and we have the right to get a ghostwriter to finish the book. Like, are you planning on killing people? Never trust a guy who sells dog food. Ain't that the truth? Yeah. I remember he first had cool covers, but pissed the artist off, so he had to switch to the covers that we got. I do remember that. Yeah, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, the original covers were very cool, but yeah, he tried to nickel and dime the artist. Remember when him and his wife always traveled with a third woman, and we were all like, they're definitely banging, and they were. Wait, who are we talking about? What's funny is he had known her for like since like grade school or something. They were like best friends, and I think he had gotten. I think that was his second marriage at that point. And now I wonder how the first one broke up. Probably because of her. And that same situation happened again with a different tree. I do remember. I do remember that. I do remember the one you're talking about. I do remember that. Yeah, it did happen again. Crazy, crazy world. I remember going to Imaginarium, and they had like the ball, the dance on like Friday night or Saturday night maybe. And me and my wife and Jay Wilburn went. We just sat at a table. That was when the elf chick dressed like an elf was hitting on Jay. And I remember he was there with her. And she was dressed like a hooker pirate, basically. And I was like, "Where's your wife?" "Oh yeah, no, she's tired. And my daughter." So he had a daughter from the first wife that was around, and she's going to be this great writer. She was like 12. Anyway, oh, she's staying in the room. She's calling it night, so me and Margie are going to hang out. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, and I remember my wife even saying, there's something going on. There's some flirting or whatever going on. And then when we found out, oh yeah, there was something going on. He had also another author friend that we knew. Uh, his wife actually became an author. And I remember we were at a convention after that. We were in Savannah, me and Jay Wilburn again, with my wife. And the other author, she said that Jerry had propositioned her at Imaginarium to basically to ride his big nose, more or less, I think is how she put it. She thought she was God's gift because she had gotten fake boobs. I don't even know if she's even writing anymore. But I remember that, and I'm like, oh. And then all this not long after it came out. I was at a NINC last year, and a woman did a presentation about writing, and she worked for the same company that he worked for. And I so wanted to say, hey, do you know this guy? But I was like, no, let me not do that. Did he ever say he asked if you wanted to ride his nose? Who knows? Who can say? Who can say? I know I can't. I know I can't say it. But I might be on tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe other people will be on and actually want to hang out and chat. Stranger things have happened, right? If not, Frank, I hope you will be on. You and I can talk, because then I won't be on again until the next Monday. And that depends on what time we get out of there, because it's Sunday is like 12 to 3 or 10 to 3 or something, but most people start breaking down sooner than 3, because it's, again, if we leave at 3, we're not going to be home till like 6 or 7 in the morning the next day. And I doubt we're going to stay, because I think my wife has to go to work. So I would imagine I will be driving some of that time, so she can at least nap for a few hours. Who can say? Who can say? But anyway, I will be probably be around tomorrow, and then next week. Then this is it for travel for me. Like, this is it. I have stuff coming up, but it's all local stuff. I have a couple of book signings coming up locally. I'm doing a talk for some misspent youth coming up in October. Signing at the end of a Halloween thing. Victoria Nations will be there. So I got stuff going on, but nothing where we're going to do any of this travel. I think my next one is AuthorCon in March of next year. So there you go. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Frank, Amanda Ward saying hi. That's pretty much it, which is fine. There's other people lurking. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys popping in and listening to me ramble. All right, talk to everybody later.